Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Prophet here. Today's video we are going to be discussing the battle between residential versus business internet as it pertains to Philip Paul Burnell, aka DarkSydePhil, or as I like to call him, Shitbeard. Now, just bear with me during this video. I've been pretty sick all week here. Hasn't been fun. Not COVID. Wish it was. This is fucking horrible. So I might have to mute the mic really quick because my throat's kind of raspy and everything. I'm really nasally and shit. But what we're going to look at here is basically this morning on the Level 1 Goutcast, Phil went into a huge spurg over the Google Stadia closing and started going into like how he knows how every country's internet works and the infrastructure and everything. And what we're going to look at is we're going to do more of a deep dive. Now, I've talked about the internet connection Phil has, but we're going to go more in depth. Now, this is going to get a little technical, so if you hate that, I apologize, but it's going to give you an idea of how badly Phil has fucked up, how he doesn't understand what he got himself into, and we're going to debunk it piece by piece. Now, I came up with this idea about a month ago to do this residential versus business internet. So I contacted Shaw. They are my internet service provider. And I spoke to Kevin, my rep at Shaw. And I asked him, I'm like, I want to do this video. Can you hook me up with business internet for the month? I just want it for the 1 month. I'll pay for it, everything. Kevin actually got it for me for free. So basically, I'm going to go into that. We're going to look at the speed differences between residential and business internet. Gotta give you guys a little hint here. There is no fucking difference. But we're going to compare it to running two modems at once off of one line. We're going to set this up identical to what Phil has. I've already done all the tests here, and I'll show you guys what I mean. We're going to go into in-depth on the price, what's involved in the line. We're going to go through the hardware that Comcast is actually providing now, because they actually do provide a very good modem. And then we're going to go into a couple of different options that Phil could use, or you yourself could use to have a better internet connection. Now, we'll take a look at the video here of what Phil said, and then we'll start debunking it piece by piece.
The last piece of news today is a humongous, ginormous, insanely huge I told you so. Ladies and gentlemen, several years ago, I was on stream, and someone actually said to me live on stream, Phil, did you hear the news about Google Stadia? Did you hear that Google is launching their own video game console / delivery service where essentially there's no console? All you're going to be doing is doing streaming of games over the internet. So you don't need a physical console. It's just basically the software. And I think there was an adapter involved at some point you plug into your TV and a controller. To which I responded, this is the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. I said, internet is not ready for this yet. It may be at some point. But here's the problem with full-on streaming of games, okay? The infrastructure of the internet around the world is dramatically different depending on where you live. If you live in Japan, the internet is owned and operated by the government. And what that means is that the infrastructure is completely controlled by the government of Japan. They have some of the best internet on the planet. It was said that when Street Fighter 4 came out, and we're talking, that's a long time ago, right? That's what, 13 years ago? If you lived in Japan and you were playing Street Fighter 4 on your PlayStation 3 or your Xbox, of course, it was PS3, no one owned an Xbox back then, and you were playing against someone else in Japan, it was as if you were sitting next to the person. The internet is so good in Japan that you can play online and it feels like you're playing in person at an arcade or a couch co-op. That's how crazy good the internet is in Japan. Okay? So in Japan, online play was never an issue. Immediately you take those games to another audience like America, oh my God, the game's lagging, it's chugging, look, slow-mo, drops, all this shit, right? And how much, honestly, has that changed in the last decade? Well, have the existing ISP networks, meaning internet service provider networks, updated their infrastructure? Yes. But are they all using the same technology? No. Are they all the same speed? No. Are they all using lightning fast fiber optic crazy ass internet? No. We still got places that are using slower standard and haven't upgraded. Oh, by the way, most internet service providers, at least in the United States, do not provide unlimited internet access anymore. At one point they did, but when the era of the streaming services hit, like Netflix, they realized, oh my God, this is an insane amount of internet bandwidth being used. We have to start either bottlenecking, capping, or charging extra. So what happens, for example, I know this for a fact. If I were to just get internet here in my home, standard edition from Comcast, that's the company that provides internet where I live, okay? They would offer me a package. It's so-and-so a month. Who even knows? $30, $40 a month. I don't even know what it is. Great. It works well for about 2 days. And then if you're someone like me who streams or uploads or uses Netflix a lot, what ends up happening is you hit what's called the data cap. Once you hit the data cap, one of two things will happen. Either your internet speeds dramatically dip, and now it's like everything you do is slow on the internet. Or they start charging you an insane amount of money for going over what they consider what you should have used in 1 month. They'll still give you internet, but they charge you exorbitant extra fees on top of it for doing so, for going over your limit, essentially. Okay? So just think about that. You're getting throttled. Not only is your internet slower, then you're getting charged more money on top of it. All right? Google Stadia. All I'm doing is streaming games. You get 2 days into a game, 10 hours in, time to play my third session. Oh, it runs like shit now. And now my internet bill's out the ass. You know what I'm saying? So I avoid those issues by having a business class internet. Do you want to know how much business class internet costs? About $250 a month. Yeah, that's what I pay for my internet. But I have unlimited, no data cap, no throttling, very fast. And if I ever have an issue, someone comes out here within 24 hours to fix it. That's the cost of that, you see?
Okay, so everything Phil said there was a lie. Phil doesn't understand how the technology works. Now, the fastest internet on the planet is not in Japan, it's in South Korea. They have the fastest internet. They have internet that dwarfs what we have here in North America. And they pay next to nothing for it. We get price gouged. Comcast is one of the worst predatory ISPs available in North America. Shaw, TELUS, Bell, Rogers here in Canada, they're not very good either. They will price gouge the shit out of you. But in South Korea, fuck, do they ever have fucking wicked internet for like, you'll have like a 6 gigabit line for like next to nothing. And it's insane. Now, as for infrastructure, all the ISPs use the same infrastructure. AT&T doesn't have different lines as opposed to Comcast. They all use the same fucking lines, Phil. Let it be fiber or coax. I'm not going to get into DSL because DSL was shit from the get-go. But when you have, in the States, you have AT&T, you have Verizon, you have Comcast. What else? Do you still have... What's the other one? What's the other big one? I can't remember what it is. They all use the same technology. Now, when you look at wireless technology, in Canada, they all use the same cell towers, okay? They're like... All the ISPs, just recently here, TELUS started doing fiber installs, but all ISPs... Bell, TELUS, Shaw, Rogers, they all paid into it to get the fiber installed. And they started running fiber into the older areas, especially here in Edmonton. I have fiber into my home. Do I use fiber? No. Is fiber required right now? No. Coax is perfectly capable of using speeds of up to 40 gigabits down, 4 gigabits up. By the time we reach that limit and we require fiber, wireless is going to be leaps and bounds ahead of wire technology. So having fiber now really doesn't benefit you in the long run. We actually discussed this on the Wizards IRL Discord a couple days ago because a buddy of ours in Colorado got his fiber put in, and he was thinking, oh, I'm going to get like 30 gigabits down. No, you're not going to get. They don't offer that internet in the United States yet. But comparing it to my cable, I was destroying him in speed, and I'm on coax, right? So Phil is wrong in that case. Now, we know in Phil's area, in the area of Burnell Productions, that he has no fiber. He's all on coax, okay? Now, digging deeper into what Phil is saying, he's wrong. The data caps, the reason why they introduced data caps is basically got to do with net neutrality. Now, in the US, when they eliminated net neutrality, which was a huge mistake, it allowed ISPs to do predatory acts. They can throttle your internet. They can charge you whatever they want for their internet service. And you can't do a fucking thing about it. Now, data caps are a thing of the past, and we'll actually see that here when we look at the Comcast pricing. Both residential and business offer unlimited data. Phil's lying. Phil has no idea what he's talking about. When Phil moved to Washington, they may not have had, well, they did have an unlimited data package, but you had to pay for the unlimited data, and it was something like a $30 extra a month for a charge. Okay, so Phil could have got residential with unlimited data. The problem is that Comcast saw a sucker coming from a mile away. Phil walked into probably Best Buy or whatever, and they had a Comcast kiosk there, and he walked up to him and was like, yeah, I'm a big time YouTuber and I need reliable internet. And their guy's like, oh, we'll sell you business internet. And of course, we know from the videos and the pictures, Phil doesn't just have internet. Phil has a home phone line. He's got cable TV. Okay. So, and he pays also for a residential line. So he has his residential that has TV and a home phone. And then he has business, which more than likely has TV and a home phone and internet as well. Because Phil thought, oh, if I bundle it, I'll save. Yeah, you'll save on all three services, but you only require one service. So why even fucking bother paying for the other two? All you needed was internet. You could be paying, well, we'll see. It's actually exorbitant for fucking business internet, but for residential, it's dirt cheap. So let's look into this. Now, Shaw, when I contacted Shaw and I spoke to the rep, Kevin offered me two modems. Now, one is an Eris, basically an XB7 modem. This one right here. Now, this modem offers up to 2.5 gigabit internet. This port here on the bottom right of this picture with the red line next to number 4 is the only port that supports 2.5 gigabit speeds. All these are only a gigabit. Then you have your phone lines. Okay. Now, we're actually going to, when I talk about using two modems, you can use two modems on a single line if it refers to banding. Now, that really doesn't take place anymore because this is your phone line here for your modem. Okay. This is all built in all in one. Now, I don't use this in my home here. I do have home phone. I do have home TV because, like I said before, I look after my elderly parents. They're not up to the task of using apps. Okay, so I can't have just TV, or I can't just have internet, sorry. They require like an old style television so they could change channels and stuff like that, right? So when I got my internet hooked up here, they provided me with two modems. Now, one modem was provisioned just for VoIP, voice over internet protocol, or basically just a landline. Okay, now then I have one modem for my internet. That's fine. Okay, now Kevin also offered me this modem here, the Heatron. Now the Heatron, as you can see in the picture here, doesn't have many options. It's got two phone lines and then just one 2.5 gigabit out. Now, the reason why it only has one 2.5 gigabit out, and we'll actually compare this to the Comcast hardware, is because as a business, they're going to expect you to have your own hardware. So your own routers, your own switches, everything like that. Now, with Shaw, they also provide you with Meraki. products, right? So switches, security devices, and everything. This is for e-commerce. So if you have like a debit machine, credit card, stuff like that, this offers another level of security. And they also offer you cameras and everything, right? We heard Phil talk about that fucking shit this morning, about how there's security cameras all over his gated community and it protects them and everything, right? And then they also offer smart Wi-Fi access points, which these are actually pretty damn good. We had this in my old shop. Unfortunately, now in my new shop, we're on TELUS, and it's just fucking garbage. We're supposed to have fiber plus gigabit speeds. I'm lucky if I get like 20 megabits. It's just trash. Now, let's look at pricing for what they offer for Shaw, okay? Now, this is the 1.5 gigabit connection that I have. I do not pay the $165 a month. When I got it when it first came out, it was only about $115. Okay, so I get a much cheaper price. It's expensive here, like I said, in Canada for internet, and there's nothing we can do about it, right? That's the problem that we face in North America. Greed, corporate greed, right? So this gives me 1.5 gigabit download, 100 megabit upload, right? I get unlimited data. I get the fiber gateway, which is that Eris modem that I showed earlier, right? They tell you it's good for 30 devices, big deal. And it's only Wi-Fi 6, which is fine. But I'll actually show you guys something in a little bit here in regards to the Comcast modems that they're providing now, which will just blow your fucking mind. And that's basically the gist of it, right? Now, let's go over to Shaw Business. Okay, so this is the business internet. Okay, now this is starting at $80 a month. Now, the business internet, Shaw provides basically the same lines, right? So 1.5, right, for $150 a month, right, starting. Right, and then you can add all your shit that you want, right? Like you'll get that Murakami stuff if you want to use that. That's going to be an extra cost. But Shaw also provides to business customers a 2 gigabit plan. We don't have this yet as a residential plan. So in regards to what Phil is saying, that his business line is fast, like we know for a fact that Phil uses a 300 megabits down, 10 megabits up connection, because the modem that Phil has, where is it here? No. Where did I have it? Right here. This is the modem that Phil is currently using. And it's only capable of 343 megabits download, max speed. Okay, we know this. We've seen it in the pictures. We've seen it in videos. So Phil is capped at 300 megabits down, 10 megabits up only, which is not good for what he wants to use it for. Now, going back to the Shaw business plan, so this is the one I have, right, or had, because it's come to an end here tomorrow. So I've got 1.5 gigabit down, 100 megabit up, same thing as my residential plan. So I did my tests. So this is my residential. I hit over my 1.5 gig, which is perfect. And my upload, I hit over my 100 megabits, which is fine. This next one is the business line. Now, you're going to get fluctuations, okay? Like they're not always going to be identical. Like my upload here is 106, so it's 1 megabit faster. Big deal, right? It's a little bit slow on the download, but I guarantee you if I retested this again, it would probably come up. Now, this is testing the lines separately. Now, 2 weeks ago, when I had my internet go down, and this is what we'll discuss about Phil, like, oh, if anything happens to his internet, they'll show up in 24 hours and fix it. So when I had my internet go down 2 weeks ago, I was actually started using my business internet line. Now, Shaw couldn't come out to fix it, and here's why. There was an accident in my area that there's a car accident, they hit the main router, and the internet went down. Now, that can't be fixed in 24 hours. And I've stated that before, that they're not going to fix everything in 24 hours. If there's an issue, say your modem dies, like there's an issue with your modem, sure, under a business plan, they will come, because that's what you're paying for. When you pay for business internet, you're paying for the support package. You're not paying for the reliability, because the business line and the home line and the residential line all are the same line. There's no different line. There's no stability line for business. That doesn't exist. What they'll offer you is like a 4G hookup, so that you can still keep working. Your internet's going to be a little bit slower, but they're going to offer you like a 4G hookup. Now, I didn't get that. I knew it was available. I didn't want it. I just wanted to test the raw modem versus the raw modem, right? Now, Shaw couldn't do anything for me because that was out of their control. Okay? So I decided to do another test, because we know that Kat's home. She doesn't have a job, regardless of what Phil says, and we'll be discussing that tomorrow night on live during the stream, the restream of Fight Night. I decided to do a test, so I hooked up both modems, and I did my tests. So both modems are running at the same time. Okay? Now, I was downloading on one modem, right? Because that's what Kat's gonna do. She's probably gonna watch Netflix or something while Phil's doing his stupid little stream begging for money, right? So I did that. I hooked up a 4K video, watching through the business line, and then I did a test with the residential line, right, while doing a private upload. Now, watch this. This is with both modems plugged in. This is what I'm talking about. This is the issue that Phil's going to run into. That's what I hit. So I lost 600 megabits on my download. My upload really wasn't affected. It wasn't going to be, because maybe if I was doing 2 upload streams, then it would be affected. But it wasn't impacted. But my download severely was. And now this is what I mean about running double NAT. And this is really going to affect Phil. So when Phil's gaming, right? Remember, like I said, when he's playing Street Fighter, he's both downloading and uploading, depending on if he's the host or he's the guest, right? Now you can see why there's so much lag on Phil's line, right? It's probably not Phil's opponent that's lagging. It's probably Phil, because he's being affected by double NAT. Now, that, again, that depends on Phil's line condition. It depends on if Kat's home with Tyrone and they're snuggled up on the couch watching some rom-com, right? While Phil's upstairs trying to ratio whoever on Twitter or fucking doing his shitty little streams. So we can see right here that running 2 modems at the same time, not a good idea. Okay? So what are Phil's options? We're going to go over this because this has now changed. Comcast has updated their packages here, and there's some really good offers. So let's look at this first. This is what is available in Burnell Productions area. Phil can get 1.2 gigabit line. Okay, so let's select that one. Go next. Now, what is offered in this line? There goes my phone. We just want internet, okay? I don't want phone or anything like that, okay? I just want internet. That's all I want. Okay, now this is what Comcast provides. Okay, so you get their new modem. Now this modem here is not that one, this one. So this is the new X-Fi gateway that Comcast offers. Now get this shit. It's a tri-band router. Okay, this offers 2.4, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz band. So if you have the new Wi-Fi 6E capability, got the latest Windows 10 update, or you're using Windows 11, now this comes in a tri-band offer. This is fucking sweet. I've never seen an ISP offer this. Shaw doesn't offer this. Telus doesn't offer this. Bell doesn't offer this. Rogers doesn't offer this in Canada. This is insane. A tri-band router. Now, it's just an Eris gateway, okay? Now, what do they mean by gateway? If you have TV service now, you don't get a separate PVR or DVR or whatever they used to provide. Now all you get is like a little Chromecast box that connects wirelessly to your gateway and gives you TV. So that's what they call gateways. Now, if I had the opportunity to buy my own modem, okay, we don't have that option in Canada. You have to use what the ISP here provides you. So TELUS will provide you some shitty fucking wireless modem. Shaw will offer you a shitty fucking wireless modem. Bell, Rogers, same thing. But in the States, you guys have an option. So this is what's provided under Comcast, which is fine for what Phil needs, right? This will support up to a 2,500 to 3,000 square foot home, just the modem in itself. You can purchase the additional pods. And I would probably recommend that for Phil because he lives in an area, he's a middle unit condo, so he has people on each side, and there's people across the street. Your Wi-Fi signals can get overlapped. And I'm not going to get into that because we've got into that in a prior video, how to fix channel overlap, right, for Phil. So this is all Phil would need right here. This would be perfect. Or Phil can purchase his own modem. Now, the issue with purchasing your own modem is you don't get the unlimited data. You can if you pay the $30 extra a month. So this goes now from $80 down to $70 a month. But then if Phil wanted unlimited data to buy his own modem, it would cost him additional $30, so he'd be paying $100 a month. Now, would you or I want to do that? Me personally, I would. And I'll explain that here in a little bit as to why. So this would all be Phil's paying per month. $80. Down from like the $400 that he's currently paying for two fucking separate modems. And we've already shown why you shouldn't run two modems. Imagine that. Imagine saving $320 a month or almost $4,000 a year. Just there. And they also offer, get this, with Comcast, because like I said in the prior video, Phil can bundle his cell phone with this as well, which would only cost $30 a month instead of him paying $180 a month for his fucking iPhone 6 that he's probably out of contract with, can get a new contract, but Phil's retarded. Now, let's look at the Comcast business internet. So remember, this is residential here right now, $80 a month, 1.25 gigabits down, 35 megabits up, which would be a drastic improvement for Phil's internet. And he wouldn't need to have two fucking modems running double NAT. So these are the business lines available currently in Burnell Productions area. As you can see, they're far more expensive. Now, why are they far more expensive? Again, you're paying for that support package. Okay? Now, if we wanted to go to the 1.5 or the 1.25 gigabits internet package, it's going to cost starting $340 a month right here. Right? Now, basically what you get in this package for a business owner, Phil will never make use of any of this. Okay? So you get your internet, then you get the Connect Pro, which is the automatic 4G LTE wireless backup. So if his internet goes down, he can use the 4G LTE wireless backup connection instead. You get the security package, right? And then you get this little shitty modem. Okay? Now, what is this modem? Basically, this modem is the Motorola MB8611 retail. I didn't bring that up here because it's basically the same gist of a modem that I showed earlier, right? It has the one Ethernet port on it because they're going to expect you to be using your own hardware. Now remember, Phil was given both a residential modem for his business line and his residential line, so he's using the same modem, which again is that shitty fucking, where is it? It's that shitty fucking Aris modem, right? It's not overly good, but it's got 4 gigabit ports, but again, it's only capable of that, right? Again, with a business package, they're going to be expecting you to provide your own hardware. Now, let's look at providing our own hardware. Now, again, for you guys in the United States, you have your option, right? You can purchase your own cable modem, right? The Aris S33 or the Netgear. I've talked about this one before, right? So here's the Netgear, the Nighthawk, right? Now, again, you can see it's got the cable in for coax, then it only has one out. This doesn't provide any wireless support because, again, they're going to expect you to use your own wireless routers, switches, access points, or whatever. Now, my dream setup, if I had the opportunity to have my own modem, this is what I would do. I'd buy the Nighthawk, then I'd have this. Now, am I going to spend $900 fucking dollars on a router? No. I'm a poor boy from a poor family, okay? I don't make huge amounts of money. I'm able to manage my money. I cannot afford this, okay? This is way out of my means. I would love to have this modem, or this router, I mean, mainly because you get your 4 1 gigabit ports, you get your 2.5 gigabit LAN, then you have 2 10 gigabit ports. I'd love to have this because I have my NAS drive that supports 5 gigabits and I have my PC that supports 2.5 gigabits. This would be awesome, and it gives you, it's a quad band router. So you have your 2.4 gigahertz, you have 2 5 gigahertz bands, and then you have the 6 gigahertz band. This thing is fucking awesome, but it's expensive, right? Now, you don't need to go that expensive, right? You can purchase any Wi-Fi 6 compatible router that you want, depending on the speed, or you can do a mesh setup as well, right? Won't get into that. Now, if I may get this, right? Now, this is just a dual band. It's got 2.4 and a 5 gigahertz, right? Now, again, Comcast offers you that free modem that'll give you tri-band. This is still expensive, $519. This is how much I've spent on my last router. I currently don't use that anymore because that router didn't support 2.5 gigabit internet. So I was fucked. I had to use what Shaw provided me. But for something like what Phil needs, this modem for sure, 100%. Buy this modem. Let's just take a look at some wireless routers. Now, I like Asus for my wireless routing. I've had Asus for many, many years now. Never, ever had an issue. Now, Phil can go with, like, if he wants Wi-Fi and he wants to do a mesh, right? You can do something. These are the latest mesh ones, I believe, from Asus. Yeah, these are the latest mesh. So you buy them in a 2-pack. It's $500. Expensive, right? And then Phil can go with something like this for $229, right? And Asus is, I guess they're doing a sale right now, right? And these will do way better than what he has right now. You're going to get Wi-Fi 6, which you're going to get ACX support. You're going to get a proper 2.4 and 5 gigahertz band. And like I stated in the prior video, do not use a single SSID. Split your 2.4 gigahertz and your 5 gigahertz band. The reason you don't want to do a single or an single SSID is, say you have like a Nest home, right? You got your little Nest thermostat, you have your little Ring camera, right? Your front door Ring camera, you have maybe other cameras. Those cameras can connect to your 5 gigahertz band. And like I stated before, things like that, like cameras, your Nest, they don't need to be on the 5 gigahertz band, so they can slow your connections down. They should be on the 2.4 gigahertz. When you have a single SSID, they don't differentiate. Okay, they can just jump to the 5 gigahertz band. I've currently run into that at the shop that I work at because we had cameras installed and the guy that installed the cameras didn't know what he was doing. And now our Wi-Fi in the building is just complete trash. I refuse to touch it. I'm not getting involved. But this would be Phil's best thing to do. Buy his own modem, get the $80 a month package through Comcast, or the $70, right? And then you have to pay $30 for extra data. But it would give him unlimited data. He wouldn't be capped at all. They wouldn't throttle his internet at all. The support package doesn't matter because they're not going to come out and fix his internet for him in 24 hours. This is not going to happen, okay? Especially if, say there was an earthquake in Seattle and one of the lines got disrupted, okay? They're not going to come out, Phil, in 24 hours and fix it for you so you can stream in the middle of an earthquake, because that's not going to fucking happen. Now, the other thing you need to take into consideration is, in Edmonton here, most of our lines are underground, so they're not affected by the elements. Whereas in the Piggy Pen in Renton, a lot of the lines are above ground, so he's affected by the elements. So if there's a massive storm or something like that, yeah, it could cut out his internet or knock out his power. We don't face that here in Edmonton per se. There are areas in Edmonton that are still stuff is above ground, but in my area, everything's below ground. Now, Phil's wrong on every aspect when it comes to his business line. Is it faster? No. Is it more reliable? No. Does he get 24-hour support? Everybody gets 24-hour support. They're not going to come out and fix it right away if there's an act of God or anything like that. It's just not going to happen. Phil can scream his lungs out. They're not going to come and fix it. So at every turn that Phil has stated about his internet, the business line is a complete waste of money. All Phil needed is a residential line with this modem, with his own router, or just go with this, right? You get an excellent tri-band modem / wireless router. You can get a pod for downstairs so Kat can cuddle up with Tyrone on the couch and watch a rom-com while Phil's streaming whatever and begging for money and tips and shit. And this would be excellent, right? Almost 5 times the speed for his internet, right? Which is going to, unfortunately, improve his fucking streams. And Phil would be saving shit. What is that? Let's calculate this, okay? So we know Phil pays a little bit over $400 per month for all his internet, okay? So let's just say $80 a month, right? So 80 times 12. $960 a year. That's all Phil's going to pay. Now, also, we can actually do this. Let's just do this. Let's attach Phil's cell phone to this as well. So 110, because we know he can attach his cell phone for $30 a month, right? Times 12 months. Okay, so 1,320. What is Phil currently paying? Well, we know he's paying $400 a month for his internet. We know he's paying $185 a month for his cell phone. Okay? Times 12. $7,020 a year is what he's paying. Minus 1320, was it? I think is what we calculated there earlier for if he went with this package. He'd be saving $5,700 per year if he'd do this. Do you know how many WWE pulls you can do with that, Phil? Like, you'd have all your 6-star emerald green Hogans with their cocks hanging out, and you can just jerk yourself off all you want on stream, not get banned, right? Why wouldn't you do this, Phil? Why? I know you're going to watch this fucking video. Why don't you do this? Why don't you improve your life? I'm going to fucking send you the link to this video in an email. I know you're not going to read it because you don't read any emails unless there's money attached to it, because I've sent you emails under sock accounts that you've never responded to. But, like, look at that, Phil. $5,700 a year. You and Kat can go on your fucking honeymoon. Snow Carl wouldn't have to offer you to buy you tickets to the zoo, which you're not going to go do anyways because you're too scared. Like, just think about that. You go from paying an enormous amount of money per month to $80 or $110 a month if you factor in your cell phone. Why wouldn't you do that? Right? You don't even have to go to this. You can get a smaller package that's faster than what you have. You can go to the 750 megabits down. I think it's 15 megabits up, right? Let's go back. Right, so where is it? So they don't have it anymore. So let's do 600. This is double. This is going to be double Phil's right? Right away, you're down to $65 a month. Factor in the cell phone charge of $30, $95. You're below $100 a month for 600 megabits down, 15 megabits up. Like, why wouldn't you do that? That's insane. So what have we proven here tonight? Basically, Phil's an idiot. We already knew that. Phil's an even bigger idiot for running 2 fucking modems at the same time, which is gonna fucking screw up his internet, right? And Phil is wasting a ton of fucking money when he could be saving tons. So tomorrow night, I will be streaming for sure. Still don't feel well a bit, but you know what? I got to get back on there. Meth Bear is going to be on. We're going to talk about at-will employment, which Phil discussed last week when he was going on that spurg when Snow Carl offered to buy him those tickets to the zoo, like I said, and then Phil came up with a whole new theory about why he couldn't do it because of Cat's schedule. We're going to debunk all that shit. Heather and I are going to be playing Fightcade, and if anybody wants to join in on that for some good old Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat 1 fun, or anything else on Fightcade, I don't give a fuck. Right? There's so much shit on Fightcade. You can play it for years. We'll be doing that tomorrow night. Saturday, I'm going to be jumping again from stream to stream. Who's ever restreaming Phil's stupid fucking marathon, it's going to be hilarious, though, because he's going to be viewing Keemstar. It's going to open up a whole new can of worms. It's going to be great. And then I guess I'll see you guys in the next video, and I want to thank everybody for being subscribers to my channel. I love you guys. I want to give a shout out to all the new subscribers that have recently subbed. I want to shout out to King Jad for helping me reach the subscriber count. Without him, I'd probably be way down there. But to everybody subscribing, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it that everybody wants to listen to what I have to fucking say about Shitbeard here. The next video I'm going to be doing is going to be on amps and DACs, because we know now that Phil has an amp/DAC for whatever fucking reason, even though he doesn't have high impedance headphones or use an XLR mic. So I have no idea why he has an amp and DAC sitting on that fucking TV tray in front of him. That one I'm going to maybe try to get done on the weekend, or if not next week, with the help of fantastic Mr. Sam, who is the one that spotted the model for me. I knew it was an amp and DAC. I didn't know which one, but fantastic Mr. Sam has a better model than what Phil uses, and he's able to hook me up with everything there, so I'll be able to debunk all that shit. Again, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel, hit like, and we'll see you in the next one.